as you know all too well, and a lot of people who are in the field of second language acquisition all know as well, is that we now know that the single most important thing in learning a second language isn't learning grammar rules or memorizing piles of vocab lists. It's just having as much comprehensible input into the brain of that target language. But you have to comprehend it. You have to understand it. You have to somehow understand it. It can't just be gibberish. That first level that I was talking to you about, when you first hear the story, we make that story into comprehensible input through this magical translation that I was telling you about. You know, that's what the academic research shows. You need maximum amount of comprehensible input. And your brain will do the wiring that it's designed to do by nature and start putting these things together. You don't have to learn the colors first, and then the days of the week, and then the seasons. It does not have to be in order for you to learn it. It just needs to be in context, and you need to understand it, and you need to have a lot of it, and you need to have a lot of repetition. I think grammar has its place, right? But it's way down the road. It's like, if you're a kid being raised in Spain or in South America, you're going to have grammar lessons, trust me, and they're going to bore you to tears. But that's once you're about 10 years old. You've had 10 years of a foundation of comprehensible input out the wazoo before you even start grammar lessons. And so like my son now, his Spanish is at a level that grammar lessons are really useful for him, because you definitely need to learn how to conjugate your verbs, you know, like that stuff's important. It's just that when we learn a second language, we put that first, and then it's like building a building with no foundation. You need to have had all of that listen experience for a long, long time to create a solid foundation. And then you can start building your buildings of, oh, this part of grammar, this part of grammar, this part of grammar. But to start learning grammar as the first thing you do when you haven't had any experience just listening to a lot of comprehensible input and just being flooded by it repeatedly, then you're kind of building on really shaky, no foundation. And that doesn't, it's not going to end up well. You're going to be able to order a beer at the end in Mexico, and that's it, you know. If I could wave a magic wand and change how we're all taught second language, not just in the States, in other countries too, it would be 0 to 10, a lot of comprehensible input, just like mandatory reading of children's books. It doesn't matter which one, it doesn't matter what flavor, just a lot of reading, kind of like we do in English, right? That's the most important thing. Now everybody understands that we're not going to be set books, but you're going to choose a book. All teachers in elementary school just want kids to read a lot. And then by middle school, once you've had lots of years of reading and listening to stories in another language, then we can layer in the grammar, and you can then, you know, take it to the next level. But you know, your first few years of learning a language should just be immersive, comprehensible input, raining down on you. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.